is to include a QR code to your bank account. So people can send you money. The ability to generate money on the road and revenue on the road is actually quite important, and actually a rather critical item to be able to do, because I would argue it is almost more important than the van that you select. It's more important than the equipment you can select and purchase to place inside of your van, because everything can and definitely do, trust and believe me, will break down eventually. But placing a QR code on the side of the van, even a magnetic one, is a highly advantageous and, I argue, the first thing to purchase when planning to go out on the road as a van lifer. As a digital nomad, I would say having a tip jar as an artist or writer or blogger of that nature. And if you're creating videos, you can simply place your QR code right here. As a billboard, it's an empty canvas. Place whatever you do. Now, I would actually highly recommend for you to experiment with the billboard. I personally have had a number of designs on this van over the past 4 months. Simply experimenting and coming up with different ideas and different solutions. And you never know what's going to work with people. And people in different places have many different perceptions. But at the end of the day, having a QR code is the number one thing to do, because it not only effectively turns your vehicle into a billboard, but it converts it into a vending machine. Because you see, as a blank canvas, you could simply write jokes and cartoons on the outside of your van, park it, and for those who find it interesting and laughable, the kick out of your wit and humor, why wouldn't they tip you? Why wouldn't they donate to your frolicking about, your nonsensical adventures, mugging a buck? I don't know what that meant. There's 2 stories of some individuals I've met along my journeys. One of them, let's call him Steven, met one of the beach cities some time ago, early morning while I was organizing my place. Steven knocked on my door and simply requested to charge his cell phone. Evidently, at some point in the night prior, the police had given him the knock.
Bruh, the cop's outside.
And unfortunately for Steven, he appeared to had unregistered vehicle. As some of you may know, and I've known personally from my experience in Chicago, an unregistered vehicle is the fastest, quickest way to lose your vehicle when interacting with the police. Because unfortunately for Steven, the finances just simply weren't connecting that month. And so Steven was short on funds. The police, being the police and executing the directives of the law, hastily confiscated, towed, and impounded Steven's vehicle. Unfortunately for Steven, that vehicle was also his home. His method of transportation, shelter, and protection. So Steven found himself, his duffel bag, and his little pet dog, homeless, houseless, on the streets, mercilessly separated from his vehicle. This is a fate I wish not upon you nor myself. So for heaven's sake, please purchase and acquire a magnetic placard with your QR code so you don't end up on the street homeless and houseless like our good friend Steven. Now, a second story. Let's call him John. Our good friend John came to California upon the request of his employer. He traveled here with his wife, and children, Lucy, Mary, and Ted, from a location that is not as economically as aggressive as California. Things became quite stressful for John. Yes, quite stressful indeed. Too stressful that to the point the missus decided John really isn't up to the task and ended up moving out with divorce papers in hand and children in tow. Left with the economic burden of supporting the home that he recently purchased in California, with all the accoutrements of debt and tools therein for his vehicles. John appeared to have fallen behind on his payments. The house was taken from John in light of the fact that John lost his job. But John, being a steadfast, hard-working individual, decided, old chap, we will get up, we will work, we will seek employment, and we will rectify the situation. Yes. That's what John said. Yes. We will work, we will fight. So John went out and working and fighting and seeking employment day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, quarter in, quarter out. John simply couldn't make it work. John did lose that house, did he? Moving into his vehicle, did he? And an old bloke, after knocking on doors and ringing the phone for about 80 hours and whatnot for a week, believed himself quite right and fixing to have himself a drink. Yes, John believed. Yes, it's stressful. Life is mighty stressful. And so John being a brother from the South, or one of the boys, had himself a couple of drinks. He? Yes, he had a couple of drinks, and at some point he had a couple more, and he enjoyed it and went back to work and seeking work and employment, and unfortunately that didn't quite work out now, did he, for John? No. And so John, being in California, decided, let me try some of that good green cannabis. Yes, that smells good. Yes, pass me, please. Good old spliff, yay. Yeah, yes. Just to cut off the edge, just to really relieve some stress. Cut off the pressure. So the pressure did John cut with a spliff and a drink. Did he wash it all down with some Domino's or some In-N-Out? Yes, for John. More expenses, more liabilities for John. You see, John never quite did find a job. No. And his insurance lapse did it, and at some point his vehicle troubles did it incur. At a friend's house was it then parked, and over time, living in that vehicle at a friend's home, parked, walking, and he acquired a bicycle because it seemed more proper. Yes. A bicycle would be fitting for John, because for John, it allows him to commute to and from the places of employment which he seeks and sought to acquire liquid funds to pay for his vehicle, the repairs, the insurance, and the registration to pay off those pesky parking tickets. Yes, those pesky parking tickets that John quite seemed to have acquired over his time in California when he was parked in places that were not intended for parking. Not out of malice of John. No, malice of John is an upstanding citizen of the law. John is he. But those tickets did accumulate, did they? And so in time, his car was towed. And so John, just like our friend Stephen, found himself on the streets. Houseless and homeless was he. But you know, being California, vice aplenty, did he find? And fentanyl mixed in was it. And so John, never quite finding his footing here in California. You know, I don't know what ever really quite happened to John or Stephen. They never made it down to the Department of Social Services to acquire a free cell phone as provided by the government here in California and the US, or persons with the benefit of food stamps and EBT. No, John never did acquire his California benefits card for his prescription medications. John simply went into the night. And so these are the types of outcomes I wish not upon you nor myself, and why I emphatically and utmost importantly express deep concern and deliver this deliverance upon you this day, that acquiring a placard, yes, acquiring a QR code placard for yourself and your vehicle, even for those not living within the boundaries and borders of this county and state great it is of California. If you order now, I'll be sure to add double your order and provide you one of another tool I found quite handy. Because even for John, the will to continue is not always available. And so for me, the provision of the nerds out there, of a Green Lantern ring. One of those metaphysical items that just simply allow you to remember that you can continue to fight and work and build. And I'll even include I'll include some samples for some Bushman herbs in that package for those who decide to upgrade. But order now, and those will be shipped to you post haste. I love you. While preparing to make this video, it actually struck me as rather odd that there are very few videos online, except for one TED Talk, covering the topic of how to make money on the road. Even more specifically, how to make money as a van lifer. The most common way many people do digital nomads make money currently is getting a remote job. Because here's the thing. The reason van life even became a thing was because people couldn't afford to live in a home. Or if they were living in a home, the finances didn't make any sense. Ironically, van life is not the solution. You still have to generate more income than you consume. The belief and the theory is, well, I won't have to pay rent, I won't have to pay a mortgage, I won't have to pay water and utility bills. These things add up. These things, of course, you need to stop. You need to cut off the water, turn off the lights. Yes, but you still need water and you still need lights. The problem doesn't disappear. It simply morphs. And in this van, things generally morph quite often. So the problem isn't reducing expenditures, but reducing expenditures are important. Do cut back on your spending. Learn to live on less. Smaller footprint, greener, renewable, sustainable. But you still need to earn $1, a pound, a euro, A rupee? Apply a QR code to the side of your van. I believe everyone should have an opportunity in their lives, at least once, to explore and experiment with van life and alternative means and modes of living. But again, one of the first steps that you all should take, and I wish I had told myself this, I knew this before I had spent almost $240,000 in education, materials, research, tomfoolery, is to simply purchase a $50 metallic placard and put it on the side of my bloody van. I'm really good at that accent, all right? Yeah, it's fine. But nah, seriously though, bro, I don't know which accent I gotta pull out. We gotta go to Queens, we gotta go to New York. Yeah, we can go down to Texas if we need to go down to Texas. We can go down to Texas, all right? We don't. Some of the boys crack open a cold one, get some metallic QR code placards and put them on the side of that door. I said, "My Tennessee was at Louisiana. I think Louisiana gonna need to put down some placards too. Louisiana gonna need to put down some of them there placards. I have no idea where that is. Somewhere else." The reality of life is that it never gets easier. You must get better. You must get stronger. But you can do it. Just apply the QR code. Build out a Google Payable form with a product or service. Cut out a roof in the ceiling for your event. Get a Gold Zero Yeti. If you can't afford the Pro, begin with a small one and upgrade in time. The more energy is always the better. You never want to be underpowered. Get a water pump. And when you're purchasing your equipment, don't go to the department stores. Facebook Marketplace, God bless Facebook Marketplace. Would you believe the washer that's in this van was free? It rattles, but I have clean clothes. Clean sleeping bag. Clean jacket and jammies and jumpers and trousers and socks. No, I don't think in the UK they don't call them socks. What do they call them? Knickers! And some clean knickers! Wait, what are we talking about? It's been all the craze, especially after that old viral thing. But what if you're not a tech worker? What if you're just an artist or a writer? It's 2024. Running a blog, unless you're technically savvy to monetize all the ads, may not necessarily be the most lucrative way of earning income. At least not passively, as we like to do here on the channel. So how on the bloody earth does one make money on the road? The number one way I've mentioned before is simply being able to create a tip jar and applying a QR code to it. The massive opportunity as a van lifer is actually the van itself. And this is a rather obvious yet counterintuitive situation, because the exterior of your van is effectively a giant billboard, a giant mobile billboard that you have every right to write on, which I've seen written on while in Venice, many places, many vans. As a van lifer, one of the most important things we learn and are drilled into our minds before a build, during a build, and after a build is not to stick out, to stealth camp, and to blend in. Especially my vehicle, the white Sprinter, it looks like a commercial vehicle, so Many times you don't want to stand out too much. The outside of the vehicle is a giant billboard, and being able to, you in your full perfect right, it's your property to write on it. And as you travel to and fro, people will see you. People will come to know you as that individual with that van and the writing on the side. And so there are many vans in the world for HVAC and mechanics, just general, even many buses have billboards on the side that are made. And so the idea many times might be, to get it wrapped. But even then, and I argue that is definitely a fantastic idea as an initial step in your van build, is to get the vehicle wrapped. But what do you include on that wrap? And I would argue and say and invite you, and even myself from before, when I was preparing to do this even 6 years ago, is to include a QR code to your bank account. So people can simply send you money. Well, now you might ask, Hendy, why on earth would anyone just send me money? Well, now, isn't that a question? People would send you money simply because of the reason money is sent to people. Because you help them feel better. That's effectively what every and any business does, is help another person on this planet feel better. By simply writing a song, cleaning clothes, writing a play, washing a car, delivering a package. It's not about solving technical problems and emotional problems. At the end of the day, it all comes down to helping a person feel better. And you can do that with a joke. Such as the fact that it pays to use an accent when you're traveling simply because it makes you more interesting. There are a few things I would highly continue to recommend when traveling to earn money on the road. Number one, always be presentable, fresh and clean, prim and proper. Maybe time for me to have my own shave. Number two, smell nice. People are extremely sensitive to odors. You may be able to get away with appearing scruffy, but the nose. And this brings us to number three, having a good sense of humor or a story to tell. Either in person or via your vehicle, provides a framework for the viewer, passers-by, and those that you interact with on your journeys to have a laugh, entertain, and experience a new perspective. Even for me, it brings and provides you an opportunity to be someone completely different. You might notice I've begun painting my nails and speaking with a UK British accent. This is not my usual accent. Accent. You have to be interesting. Give somebody else a story. Better businesses are built when those businesses help others feel better. That is effective basis in theory of my entire business. Working in advertisement. I have no idea how to pronounce that word. The UK accent. To the Google one day, shall we go? But if I had to go back 6 years, before even acquiring this vehicle, this behemoth of a beast, with light ticket room for me to actually lay down mine head, I would encourage myself, sitting in my apartment in Colton, to print a banner with my QR code. Cash App, Venmo, and or Zelle, because it's literally your financial mouth. It is literally the opening, the 8th dimensional portal into your bank account. Wouldn't that seem quite important? It's so important, I've decided to actually make it a part of my business. For those who are watching who may be planning to become a van lifer, to Nomad, leave a link in the bio below for a magnetic placard you can take with you and apply on the side of your vehicle. And even if you have not acquired your vehicle, I still highly recommend for you to acquire it, because if there's one thing I've learned in my travels is that you never know how an environment or a situation will make you feel until you are in that situation. And so even before you decide to quit your job, country, to shave your head, become a monk, and meditate on the Himalayas about the meaning of life itself, taking a magnetic placard and applying it to the side of your van or car or rickshaw places you in a sense and frame of mind to think and wonder, if I park in this manner, how many people will see this QR code? Shall I be parked here or closer to the curb? In the light or in the shadows? This might be a good reason for me to keep my vehicle clean, because perception is reality, and a dirty vehicle sends the wrong impression. You'll find yourself wanting to experiment with what you place on your vehicle. Bumper stickers, notes, even the branding for your business. Even if you don't have a business, you have zero plan of beginning or commencing a business. It places you in a frame of mind. It's 6 years down the road. And Lord knows, the acceleration is accelerating. And so for the cost of $50, you can avoid 6 years of pain I've gone through. Risking life and limb, losing property and belongings, being stuck on the side of the road for months on end, attempting to build a business which no one cares about but me or you, or whoever we're speaking about. You. And as always, I love you. Good night.
Warning. Side effects of our metallic QR code placards may include sudden influxes of cash, an overwhelming sense of financial security, and the uncontrollable urge to bedazzle your entire van. Do not use if allergic to success or afraid of becoming an accidental influencer. While $50 may seem like a small price to pay for potential fortune, please consult your financial advisor, life coach, or local palm reader before making this life-altering purchase. Remember, in the grand scheme of economic uncertainties, this isn't just a QR code, it's your ticket to the vanguard of mobile entrepreneurship. Buy now or forever fail.